Hi, Dr. Chanel. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
So happy to be with you guys today, and very nice to meet you, Elijah. Very, very honored to be with you today.
Beautiful. You see, I used to thank my guest for two things, all right? And I do this often. Firstly, I want to say thank you for investing in yourself, Dr. Chanel. You see, the fact that you invested in yourself has made you to be on the show. And oftentimes, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, I was passing by mango trees some months back, and the mango tree didn't really catch my attention like that because it's got no fruit on it, and I just walked past it. But you see, recently I was passing by that same road, and I sighted the mango tree from afar, and this time it caught my attention. Why? Because now it's got a lot of mangoes on it and it looks so beautiful. Now it caught my attention. The point is the fact that you dedicated your time, energy, resources to becoming who you are today. That caught my attention. And that's why I said, Dr. Chanel, I've got to have you on my show. The fruit attracted me. And I've got to say thank you for improving yourself and becoming this wonderful person that you've become. And secondly, thank you for honoring the invite. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Before we get started, yeah, you see, you've got a beautiful, what's a gender? Is it he or she, your pet?
She and her
Okay.
name is Sophie. This is Sophie.
Whoa,
She's my
guys, you've got to see Sophie. What a beautiful pet. Hi, Sophie. How you doing? Beautiful. Okay, Dr. Chanel, you see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, Doctor, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the audience. The second reason why I'm excited to have Dr. Chanel on the show is for the sake of the listeners. Doctor, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got a lot of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality information. And that's why when I came across your profile, I was excited because I believe our conversation is going to be insightful. So for that reason, Doctor, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. And afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Doctor, over to you. Okay, let's get to it, Dr. Chanel. Over to you. Talk to us about your personal and professional journey. Okay.
All right. Okay. I thought you were going to read it or something. I am a naturopathic doctor. I have a small practice here in the States, and I also teach conferences. I've written 5 books. I did conference speaking for like 20 years. I still do like conferences and retreats and speaking engagements. I have a podcast every Thursday called True TV. It's at noon central. And I have a lot of fun guests that talk about not just health, but about God and inspiration and goals and creating miracles and the supernatural. And I love using words and conscious language, integrity, truth, and helping other people and hopefully inspiring people to live their best life and to walk in love and to walk in truth and to walk in integrity. Integrity is probably one of my highest things. That and authenticity are very, very important to me. So yes, thank you for asking.
Amazing. Integrity. When I did a research on that word, I discovered that it also means to be one. In other words, it means, yeah, to be one, to be constant. Wherever it is you are in the morning, yeah, wherever it is you are in the
Yeah.
morning, it's the same with you at night, at noon, just like the alphabet, the character A remains A, whether in the morning, at night, or in the evening, A remains A. So I love that. That's a good word. So,
Well, integrity
yeah,
is mind, body, and spirit, right? And I started looking at the physiology of what happens when we live true in integrity, is we have all these chemicals that release out of our brain and into our body and saturate us, and they give us strength, they give us immunity, they give us valor to like lift off a car, off a baby that's burning or something, like we can do supernatural things when we live in integrity. When we do not live in integrity, Elijah, the opposite is true. We actually have chemicals that release our body that cause us to be weak. They cause us to age. They cause us our immunity to be complicated. And, you could tell sometimes looking at someone like, wow, they are not living their truth. And not just to saying the truth. I'm talking about living and embodying what you are supposed to be doing on the planet. If you look at Job in the Bible, Job had all these things that happen around him, terrible things, right? But the scripture says his integrity was his protection. And when he walked in integrity, he was untouched. Now, things happened all around him, but he was untouched because he walked in his authenticity, he walked in his integrity, and he had the chemistry to support him. And even down to, are you going to this grocery store today? Are you going to your friend's house today? Are you going to wear this outfit or that? I mean, like everything, what you eat, what you drink, whatever you do all to the glory of God. All means all. Every minute of every second of every time. So being on time is important. When you're late, that's a lie. Unless there's a reason for something, which then you just go back to the agreement, apologize for what you missed. Missing the mark is sin. Missing the target. Sin is just missing your agreement. And so when we miss our agreements, there is a chemical response. And so I teach people to live in integrity and to keep your word. You shouldn't have to have all kinds of contracts because you have this contract. This is your word, and you are a living word, and we are all living our contract one way or the other. And if you're constantly breaking contracts, then you are going to have some bad effects. There are consequences to that. It's called karma, but it's also, missing the mark. And when you miss your mark, your biofield shrinks down and you start attracting other people that aren't so great or other situations that aren't so great and have this ripple effect. It's not good for you. Not you, somebody. It's not good
Yeah, I
for the
get it. I
person.
get it. I get
Yeah,
it. You see, that's why I love to listen to folks like you. I get to learn some amazing stuff. And I see how passionate you are about the subject. And that's a good one. So you mentioned that on your podcast you bring amazing guests to talk about some things like miracles and all of those things. So I was about to ask, can you talk to us about the science of miracles?
absolutely. So this is my book, The Science of Miracles. It came out of an encounter I had with two huge angels, or I don't know what they were. They were very, very tall beings that came to me. And out of that, I had all these formulas and calculations and pictures and images and just all of this information that suddenly was here that wasn't there just a little bit ago. And I started just writing everything down. And 12 hours later, I had this book. And it goes into explaining how this technology, how we were created and how we can use our DNA, our technology, our thoughts, our words, our action to create either something really positive or by default, accident or programming, we can have a negative effect. And so basically, again, I'm just trying to help people to have a better life and to have a life of miracles instead of have something, negative patterns that aren't serving them or anybody else.
See, that's a great motive behind the book, and I love that. Okay, okay. So, how did you come about the title? You've got two very important words in that title, science and miracle. So, how did you come about the title?
Well, that's a really good question, Elijah. I never thought of miracles being a science until this happened to me. And when I saw the formula for it, it's a very easy formula that any of us can apply on a regular basis to literally live out miracles every day. And when we're not aware of it and or walking in it, then we're going to create it anyway. But usually it's not the best creation because there's so much programming in the world, whether it's TV, music, all of those things that tend to program people and their thought processes. They are bioengineering our creative abilities to create something terrible instead of something positive. And so when we can step back and go within and really see what our plan is, what our reason is and our purpose is for being here, and really tap into the frequency of love, we can create something a lot more beneficial to us and to others.
Amazing. I got that. Okay, let us talk about the power of words. Okay, so how does the power of words and creative imagination reshape personal reality?
Well, the word imagination is used a lot in scriptures and the ancient text to imagination or to imagery. We are constantly creating what we see and what we focus on. What we focus on, we make room for. And so if our thoughts are always doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom, which a lot of television, movies, the news, things like that are all just doom, 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 then we will come into agreement with that possibly, and our DNA, our creation, our biofield creates that for that purpose. If we focus on other things, then we create something more positive. And so staying in the positive and imaging a nation, I mean, the reason why they call it programming, television, tell a vision, whose vision is it? And so I love things like your podcast and different things that are creating something more positive that people can focus on and learn new things so we can create something better in this world instead of something, maybe by accident default, in our other programming that isn't so positive.
Wow, wow, wow. Television, tell a vision. Wow, I never knew that. Whoa, that's amazing. Okay, you also mentioned is it biofeedback or something? Can you educate us on that? I'm not so used to that word.
Yeah, so we all have a biofield around us. It's about 4 or 5 feet. Scientifically, it's proven. And all life has one. Dogs have them, cats have them, plants have them. The world has its own biofield, and everything in the language of this field has to do with what we're thinking about, what we're talking about, and what we're feeling. The heart is the most magnetic, meaning what you're feeling, you will bring to you. It does have a bit of radiation, but it's more magnetic. When I worked in cardiac rehab, the surgeons during surgery, they would talk about this blue light that they would see during surgery. We are electric beings. And I kind of shelved it. But later on, when I started looking into some of the laws, I was like, wow, there's something really to this, because what you're thinking about radiates. What your words speak, call those things that are not as though they are. Speak things into existence as we speak, and then use imagery. Those things can go into the field, and they not only radiate, but they magnetize. And so especially if you can put your feelings towards something that you really choose, like maybe a divine partner or a better job or whatever it is, you can put your feeling and pretend. The word pretend means to tend to as if it's there. Pretend. Tend to as if it's there. So when we pretend, then we're calling forth those things that are not as though they are. And then you feel as if it's already happened. That goes into the field, and then you start getting a match. We can only get what we are. So when we stay in the feeling of it and we're thinking about it, talking about it, and that is the focus, what we focus on, we make room for, and it starts coming into your life.
Amazing. The way you're breaking down those words, I tell you, I find them really interesting. Thank you for taking your time to explain the stuff that way. Okay, we have 2 more to go. All right. So, what are your latest teachings on quantum health? Can you share some with us?
Yeah, I guess my biggest thing right now regarding health and or quantum health is not just the physical of like eating well, saying no to sugar, things like that, but the mental of it, of, maybe imagining yourself healthy. I work with a lot of people who are very, very ill, and it's easy when you get a really bad diagnosis to just be in fear that you're going to die or the person's going to die, or, just to start planning as if it's going to happen, especially people who end up, getting like a really, really bad diagnosis. There's certain words I don't like to say, but they can trigger feelings about things. And so I like to work with people to see themselves jumping and running or doing something they haven't done before, and putting the imagery towards that, and having the mental of, when you are better, what are some things you're going to do? Are you going to dance? You're going to go hang out with your kids? You're going to walk your dog? You're going to be able to work out better? Things like that. I try to put them mentally into that quantum imagination of seeing it before it's already happened, as if it's happening, and staying in the feeling of that, as well as doing all the groundwork. There's physical 3D things too, like, cut off the sugar, stop eating junk food, drink water instead of soda, just some common sense things too that will help, the soil of our body, because this is a machine. God's given us this. Why trash it up with all kinds of bad things that are going to keep us from having that cognitive connection to source, who is within us? One of the things that I will say is, if you can get off sugar, you will mentally and heart-wise connect with God more than ever, and your intuition just goes way up, and you have a better connection to spirit.
Amazing. I got that. Okay, so Dr. Sharnael, to bring this to an end, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those who would like to reach out to you, what you're doing, you've shared a lot of amazing stuff just for being 18 reading it. I had to listen to our conversation over and over again. So it resonated, and would love to learn more. How can that be possible?
Awesome. Yes. You can find me at drsharnael.com. I have a lot of workshops online, as well as different modalities and different, my podcasts, my books, my everything's there pretty much. I'm on all the social medias like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Dr. Sharnael True TV. But I would just encourage people, if you are in a place where you're having like constant negative things happen and you're not sure why this keeps happening, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Why am I keep going around the same patterns? I would really encourage you to look within and maybe pick up a copy of the book, The Science of Miracles, because it'll figure out like what is the snag there that's causing this to keep happening over and over again. I also do biofeedback, long distance, and maybe we can find the snag there and just say, okay, easily move this thing around, shift this up a little bit, and then all of a sudden everything changes. It's not as hard as it has been. It doesn't have to be hard. Life can be fun. Life can be easy. And you can live a life of miracles. And it's right there at our fingertips. It's within our body to create, just like God creates. And we can create really good things, or we can not create good things. So, but going back to what you said, light is information. And when we have knowledge and information, information, it's information. So we can use our imagination to create something really positive.
Amazing. You see, you just proved me all right. More like, the prophecy coming true. I mentioned, I said, I'm sure our conversation is going to be insightful, and you just proved that to be true. Thank you so very much, Dr. Shima. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you for coming, and thank you for blessing us. Yeah, with all of this amazing stuff. Thank you so very much. It means a whole lot.
Talk to you soon. Stay in touch. Thank you.